Are meetings a waste of time? Meetings in general are not a waste of time, but that doesn't mean that yours aren't. Here's the difference. The question really isn't whether or not meetings are a waste of time, and we can't put a tab on all meetings. The question truly is, have your meetings ever brought the clarity to the team that they're demanding? Whew, close to the vest, right, man? Settle down. No, I'm not going to settle down. I'm going to take you deep into this idea of creating meetings that are valuable, not only for you, but for your entire team. By the end of this video, you're going to know whether or not your meetings are building a business or bleeding you dry. We've worked with a lot of business owners. In fact, we've worked with a lot of contractor and construction owners over the years, and we could take you side by side. We'd have one owner that was fully committed to meetings. We have another owner that is fully discommitted to meetings. We have two like businesses, two of the same size, and the one that's committed to meeting is committed to clarity. The other that is committed to not meeting is committed to chaos. The difference is not the meeting. This group gave up on the meetings because the meetings were unstructured. They had no agenda. They had no leader. The difference is creating a meeting that people want to be a part of. And there's a possibility to be able to do that. I want to show you how that works. One of the things that we hear all the time is, hey, Scott, we don't need to meet because we talk all day. So I don't need to meet with my CEO. I don't need to meet with my project managers because we're talking all day. Well, there was actually a study done with this, and it was a group of authors that put this together. And what they found is that people who claim to, quote, talk all day, once they added up the minutes that they actually talked, it equated to 28 minutes. But what's even worse is those 28 minutes were not contiguous minutes. They were distracted, fragmented minutes. Can you imagine the lack of productivity, the lack of inefficiency that happens in a conversation that takes place over 13 different engagements in 28 minutes? Would you ever want to build a marriage or a parenting relationship on that? No. Well, we don't want to build business relationships on that either. We want to take the same pragmatic values from home life into our business life. We want to have distraction-free time. We want to have contiguous minutes where we're having conversation. We want to create awareness and then deploy autonomy and consider the other person valuable to go solve that problem. See, meetings, too many times, we think that we're trying to solve a problem in a meeting. The reality is we're not. What we need to do is surface the problem, bring awareness to a problem, diagnose the problem in the meeting, and then we need to take the two or the three or the one person who can solve that problem and deploy them outside of that meeting to actually go solve it and come back to next week's meeting and report on it. That's proper accountability, rather than this idea that we're going to try to do full surgery and do the following PT after the surgery has been done all in the room. That's akin to what most meetings are. We're not doing that. In fact, many times in the meeting, it's like being in surgery. It'll actually create more pain by bringing out the awareness of the problem. It's the long-term physical therapy that we need to go back to actually solve the problem. So let's stop looking at meetings as a solution point, and let's look at them instead as a surfacing awareness point so that it empowers us, the people who've been hired, to go solve the problem. Too many times in meetings, especially where a business owner's in that meeting, a problem gets surfaced and then everybody turns their head to the owner to see what the owner's going to have to say about it. Owners, stop leading meetings. Your proper place, my proper place, is as an agenda item on the agenda and not as the facilitator and lead of the meeting. Now, some of you are like, Scott, are you being a hypocrite? Don't you run meetings in your business? Currently, we have a marketing and sales meeting, a coach's operations meeting, a director's meeting, and a team meeting that happen every week, among some others that are sort of smaller and off to the side. But the reality is, currently I only lead one, and the reason is, before you judge me, is because every time we start a meeting, the owner wants to lead it, whoever had the idea for it wants to lead it, to model it so that they can then pass it off. So next quarter, our Director of Business Operations Integrity has already put it on my quarterly goal to pass off that marketing and sales meeting. So by next quarter, I will no longer lead any meetings. I will merely be in an agenda item that the facilitator reaches out to me and goes, do you need any time for this meeting coming up? And so when we start to do that, my voice starts to decrease a little bit. The voice of the vision, mission, values starts to increase, and the leadership capability and capacity and the autonomy starts to increase for other people. In other words, I don't have to micromanage everything. And by the way, micromanagement is a simple function. In fact, I've got another video. If you click on the link in the description below, that will actually walk you through what I call the seesaw of predictability, and it gives you a proper definition on what micromanagement is in contrast to what healthy leadership is. So after this video, go click on the link in the description below. I think you'll really enjoy and getting that metaphor, and you can actually go train your team on that metaphor as well. Okay, so when we think about meetings, let me give you some structure to work with. Number one, we're looking for 5 meetings that exist in every business. A once weekly team meeting that builds a lot of culture in the business. Number 2 is a once weekly departmental meeting, and that's by department. So it's actually 4 meetings: marketing, sales, ops, and admin. And in some cases, you can merge marketing and sales in a business development meeting. But you get my point. Operations needs a meeting, accounting, admin needs their own meeting, and business development needs their own meeting. So we've got a team meeting, a departmental meeting, once weekly, agenda-driven, leader-led, and 1 hour. The team meeting is the same thing. The executive meeting is a minimum of every other week. Now, in our business, we actually meet every Monday, but we're okay with that meeting every other week if necessary. And so twice monthly, the high-level leadership of the team gets together, and they talk about the purpose, the people, the process, and the profit of the business. And so that's what we call our operating system, and that's their entire agenda for that meeting. Then every business has a one-on-one check-in with every team member in the business. Now settle down. That's not the owner checking in with every team member in the business. That's every leader checking in with their direct reports twice per month. Now the owner go, well, if everybody reports to me, okay, then we've got some work to do. Unless you have a super small team, but if you're leading 10, 15, 20 people, then you got some work to do to start delegating some of that work so that once to twice a month, you can have a one-on-one check-in. And then finally, the 5th meeting we're looking for is a once annual performance review. And that performance review can be funded by all the other meetings as long as you're documenting, because you're actually tracking performance in those meetings. Now, the one I want to drill down on is actually the marketing and sales meeting. So if we go and we have a team meeting, then we have a departmental meetings, but one of those is the marketing and sales meeting. What does a healthy marketing and sales meeting look like? Now, everything that I tell you in the marketing and sales meeting is actually going to scale to all the other meetings, all right? So I'm just picking this to show you the redundancy of what we're going to do. So follow the framework. You ready? Once weekly, 1 hour, agenda-driven, leader-led. Once weekly, 1 hour, agenda-driven, leader-led. So what are we doing with that? Okay, once weekly, it's going to be the same day of the week, same time of the day. And what we're going to tell our team is everybody's schedule's around theirs. There's no dentist appointment, there's no travel appointments, there's no client called and whatever. You have to work around that. You should very rarely skip a meeting, and only because you're out of town on business or you're taking PTO. But outside of that, and I would even argue that out of town, you're still trying to pipe in via Zoom on that meeting. These meetings are not, well, so-and-so's not here, so I guess we're not meeting kind of meetings. These meetings are sacrosanct. They happen regardless of who is in the room. And if the facilitator has to be out, somebody else steps in, and it's the facilitator's responsibility to get a backup in place for the time that they're going to be out, and not last minute. Hey, we got a meeting in 5 minutes. Can you fill in for me? A week in advance, 2 days in advance, whatever it is, it's your responsibility. So it's the same time every week. It's 1 hour. We are putting an artificial boundary on the meeting, because if you don't, these meetings go and go and go, and you look at the meeting looking to solve a problem. That is not the point of the meeting. The point of the marketing and sales meeting, the ops meeting, the team meeting, the executive meeting is to bring awareness to existing problems so that the people who can go solve them are now aware and equipped to go solve them outside of that meeting. That's how meetings operate. One of the reasons you hate meetings is because you've tried to solve too much in those meetings. So we got the same time every week. We've got an artificial boundary of 1 hour around it. And if you don't get to everything week 1 in that 1 hour, sorry, move on to next week and do better next time. And keep doing it until you get dialed in. I am amazed at the number of meetings now we actually finish early because we imposed an artificial boundary on ourselves to get that. And we get done everything that needs to get done in that meeting. So same time every week, 1 hour artificial boundary. And I said leader-led, and I don't want the leader to be you. And so with that leader, you as the owner can start to raise up other leaders. Let me give you a little hint. Bringing somebody else in as a facilitator is one of the greatest leadership development opportunities in any business that most businesses overlook. It doesn't come with an increased title, increased compensation, nothing. They just need to be prepared for the meeting and come in and shine through facilitation. And so they're going to be flexing a lot of muscles: preparation muscles, accountability muscles, leading other people muscles, all happen within leading that meeting. It's a powerful opportunity. So same time every week, 1 hour artificial boundary, and it's leader-led by somebody other than the leader. And what are they running? An agenda. It's an agenda-driven meeting that the facilitator, that leader, is following tightly. And the agenda can be as simple as this. Start with big wins. It should take about 30 seconds per person. Then you move into accountability from last week's action items. Then you move into your quarterly goals that everybody should have defined. And then you move into a system-by-system review of the business. Marketing, red, yellow, greens. Sales, red, yellow, greens. Ops and admin, all red, yellow, greens. Now, I've mentioned a couple things. I've mentioned meetings. I've mentioned 12-week plans. I've mentioned the repetition of the calendar. I've got another powerful masterclass that I have put together. This isn't just a little 10-minute video. This is a long video where you're going to sit down, where I teach you how to run a construction business, soup to nuts, top to bottom, where I'm going to be talking a lot about the details of these things: 12-week plans, vision, mission, values, org charts, meeting agendas, all of that. So make sure you click on that link below, maybe after this video or this afternoon. And I want you to sit down with a notebook, with a snack, with a drink, get prepared to take a bathroom break from time to time, because I'm going to go deep, just you and I, walking through how to build a business. Click on that link in the description below. And that'll dive you deeper so you can visually see where this meeting agenda sits. But here's what I want you to sit with. 1 hour, agenda-driven, leader-led, weekly team meetings led by somebody other than you. And if you start to do that, your meetings will no longer be a waste of time, but you will be liberated from chaos to make time for what matters most.